Hokage get burning art at the start, Chapter 501-520. Chapter 501 Rubbish is Rubbish. This. Hearing that Kazama actually wanted the two of them to surrender to him, Nikita and Gem immediately became even more angry. But because now they are not the opponents of the wind. Therefore, even if he is angry, he dare not show it on his face. At this time, Nikita rolled her eyes and immediately had an idea. So he hurriedly whispered into the wind and said, "Gem, since this little bastard is so arrogant now, we might as well take the opportunity to give him a hard-to-get game." "Oh, why play hard to catch?" Hearing Nikita's plan, Gem immediately became interested. "It's very simple, since Kazama wants to subdue us and make us his subordinates, we will take the opportunity to agree to him. But we also told him to let him give up Bansho Tenon, Universal Pull, take these two moves with Shinra Tensai, Almighty Push, as long as he gives up, can't we join forces to kill him?" "Well, not bad." Hearing Nikita's words, Gem immediately nodded excitedly. Then he hurriedly said in the wind without smiling, "We can surrender to you, but before we surrender to you, I hope you can fight us with real swordsmanship. If you can beat us this time, then we will be your subordinates willingly." Ha ha. Hearing Gem's words, Kazama immediately understood their trick. He immediately smiled and said to them, "Didn't I just fight you with real swords and guns?" "Of course not. Your Bansho Tenon, Universal Pull, and Shinra Tensai, Almighty Push, expeditions are too awesome. If you can deal with us with your bare hands, then we will definitely serve you." Delusion. At this moment, I didn't wait for the wind to speak. On the contrary, the curly-haired middle-aged man on the side immediately scolded Nikita and Gem angrily. "You bastards, what kind of people are you? You dare to be arrogant in front of the little brother Fengjan. I tell you, the little brother Fengjan will not agree to your request. I promise." "What?" Just when the curly-haired middle-aged man swore that Fengjan would not agree. "But I never thought that the wind would actually accept it directly." "I said little brother in the wind, you have to think twice before you act." At this time, the curly-haired middle-aged man hurriedly grabbed the wind, and kept winking at the wind. "You must know that the reason why you were able to defeat these two people easily is because your Bansho Tenon, Universal Pull, and Shinra Tensai, Almighty Push, signs are very powerful, so you say these two are just like that child in front of you, and there is nothing special about them at all. But if you are fighting them with hand-to-hand ability, then you will definitely die. You must know that I have told you before that these two people are the serious devil fruit users. Their ability, but they are much more powerful than ordinary people, and they are thousands of times more powerful than ordinary people, and it is not bragging, so I advise you not to fall for their tricks. Old bastard, stop pretending to be forceful in front of us." At this time, once the two of them saw this middle-aged man with curly hair, they kept persuading Kazama. They were worried that their tricks would be revealed, so they hurriedly stopped the curly-haired middle-aged man. He pointed at his nose again and cursed with pain. "I tell you this bastard, between the two of us and the little brother in the wind, but the real, Kunzi agreed that you are not fucking qualified, you have no ability to pretend in front of us, so now you'd better go as far as you can." Chapter 502 Excuse me, I'm really cool. What, you two bastards? Once the curly-haired middle-aged man saw that he clearly ignored Gem and Nikita. But Gem and Nikita pointed at their noses and cursed, which naturally made the curly-haired middle-aged man extremely angry. At this time, the wind stopped the middle-aged man with curly hair immediately, and winked at the middle-aged man with curly hair. The meaning is to tell him not to worry, I have a way to hang these two people in the wind. At this time, the curly-haired middle-aged man did not know what the wind could do. But he thought that the strength of the wind was so strong. Then people like Kazama shouldn't say anything big. So he hurriedly nodded to that wind room. At this time, Gem and Nikita were overjoyed when they saw that Kazama really wanted to use his hand-to-hand combat ability to fight against them. After a face-to-face effort, they once again used their respective trump cards to kill them in the wind. 10,000 tons. At this time, the woman directly exerted the 10,000-ton weight. At this time, Nikita immediately used his ultimate explosive ability. In the face of the two sides being attacked by the two, Kazami still stood still. And just as Kazama promised them earlier, Kazama did not cast Bansho Tenin, Universal Pull, and Shinra Tensai, Almighty Push, against them. Little Misty, your death is coming. At this time, the man and the woman burst into laughter when they saw that their attack was about to hit a stroke. Then only a loud bang was heard. The man and woman then jumped out of the smoke. Then he immediately sneered at the wind that had disappeared in the smoke and said, "You little bastard, you clearly know that we are the Devil Fruit ability, but you still dare to use the ability to fight against us with hand-to-hand combat. We are amused. Hee hee. I want to say that this kid's head was kicked by a donkey, that's why he kept pretending to force in front of us. What? You two are so arrogant and domineering." At this time, the curly-haired middle-aged man thought that the man and the woman had really beheaded him. Therefore, even scolded the man and the woman angrily. "Stop pretending to be bullying in front of us. We can deal with this little stray no matter how we want to deal with it. Now it's not your turn to point fingers in front of us." At this time, the man and the woman said, and they killed the middle-aged man with curly hair. But they didn't expect it, just when they were about to hit this curly-haired middle-aged man. A face-to-face effort in the wind stood in front of them. What? How is this possible? This is the volume that Gem and Mikita saw that their trump card had already hit Kazama. But now the wind is still intact, which completely subverts their worldview and completely refreshes their outlook on life. If this was in the past, it would be something they could not even imagine in their dreams. At this time, the curly-haired middle-aged man was also full of shock. Compared to himself, he is about to be beheaded by a man and a woman this year. Now he was even more surprised that Kazama survived. Because he never thought that Fengjian could survive unharmed. So the curly-haired middle-aged man hurriedly bowed his hands to the wind. Chapter 503 Ready to slaughter the entire Bar Rock Works. I said, "Big brother Kazama, you are really awesome and powerful. I have never seen someone as awesome and powerful as you. Hee hee, you don't need to praise me like that, because the attack of these two people is completely useless in front of me, who is invulnerable." What? How the hell do you dare to say you're invulnerable? I don't believe it at all. At this time, the man and the woman felt that their faces were dull when they saw that their killer had not killed the wind. So in order to save face, he immediately pointed at Fengyan's nose and cursed angrily. But their real actions now are completely different from the language they speak. Because they cursed at the wind. But the legs fled backwards in one face-to-face effort. During this period, Kazama sneered, so Kazama immediately cast the Bansho Tenin, Universal Pull, on the two of them. Pull the two to his side. I said, "You little bastard, you promised us the fucking promise not to cast Bansho Tenin, Universal Pull, on us, why are you breaking your promise now? Stop acting in front of me." Before the man and the woman could finish speaking, two slaps in the wind immediately knocked them to the ground. I tell you, Kazama did say that I shouldn't use Bansho Tenin, Universal Pull, for you, but that was just now, not now, and you obviously didn't really surrender to me, but you kept pretending to be in front of me. Okay, since that's the case, then I Kazama will now let you see my true abilities. At this time, Kazama said, and immediately cast the Super Heavy Rock technique. At this time, the Super Heavy Rock technique of the wind is similar to the lightness of Gem's fruit ability. However, once the Super Heavy Rock technique of the wind is used, the power is even more powerful. Therefore, with a single face-to-face effort, even the flat road below was pressed into a deep pit. Directly hit that gem under the rocks. Seeing this scene, Nikita was so frightened that she fell into a cold sweat. Even if he wanted to take advantage of the situation to escape, it was a pity that the wind had already made a move on him. Bakuten, explosion style. C4 Garuda. Therefore, in a face-to-face effort, Kazama cast the Didera, S Bakuten, explosion style, on Nikita. After all, when Kazama fought against Deidara in the Hokage world, he absorbed Deidara's Bakuten explosion style. Therefore, for the display of Bakuten explosion style, Kazama is also handy. Then, Mikita was easily blown away. However, Kazama didn't really want to kill Mikita, and left him alone. The purpose is to let this Mikita go to tip off the boss of the Naba Rock Works. Because only in this way, he can attract the boss of the Ba Rock Work Club and all his many subordinates, and then defeat them all. And Kazama can also see that Mikita is very fond of Gem. So Kazama thought about trapping Gem here. Then Mikita will definitely lead the full force of the Ba Rock Work Club to come here to deal with her own. As long as they dare to come, they are caught in the trap of the wind. And at this time, it was when the wind was sitting and waiting for the people from the Ba Rock Work Club to kill here. Suddenly seeing that Luffy actually killed him, this made Kazama's heart bewildered. Chapter 504 Hang Luffy with Rubber Ability. Did I say Luffy, are you crazy? Why are you doing it to me? At this time, Kazama asked him suspiciously while resisting Luffy's attack. Don't give me this shit, let me tell you, I originally thought of you as my good brother, but I didn't expect you to be a bad person, and the people in this whiskey town entertained me so warmly, but you dare to shoot at them, and even knock them to the ground. I really can't bear it, I have to fight you for 3,000 rounds today. What? Hearing Luffy's words, Kazami was a little dumbfounded. Afterwards, he said Luffy again. I said Luffy, you were really a stupid person, it was the people from the whiskey town who wanted to confuse us, so I attacked him, and let's talk about it. Even if I attacked them, but now that I have made peace with them, why do you keep stumbling in front of me? Then don't do this for me. I don't care if you make up with them or not. In short, today I'm going to fight you for 3,000 rounds. At this time, the curly-haired middle-aged man on the other side. Seeing that Kazama is now helping himself, he is dealing with the Naba Rock Work Club. But now he has been misunderstood by Luffy. So the curly-haired middle-aged man hurriedly rushed to Luffy and said, I'm talking about this little brother, you are misunderstanding your companion Kazama. Kazama did conflict with us before, but he was not. You took the initiative to attack us, and we took the initiative to attack you, because we thought you were a bad person, but since then we have been reconciled as before, now please stop fighting in the nest. Shut up, I'm telling you now that I, Luffy, say that I'm going to beat whoever I'm going to beat. At this time, while Luffy said, he raised his hand and knocked the middle-aged man with curly hair to the ground. What? At this time, the curly-haired middle-aged man never expected that this wind room seems to be crazy now. And at this time, when the wind saw this Luffy, he was so ignorant. Shorthand also threw a punch, knocking Luffy directly to the ground. Then Kazama realized the reason why Luffy seemed to be crazy now. It's not that Luffy really wants to do it to himself, but it's because of the toll that he drank too much before. Now he has become drunk, so he shot himself. So the wind immediately smiled coldly, and said to the middle-aged man with curly hair on the side again, Uncle, go to the side first, and then I will wake up Luffy. Okay, no problem. At this time, as soon as the middle-aged man with curly hair heard Funyun's words, he immediately ran to the side. And at this time, the kung fu in the face of the wind flew towards the road and killed it. Luffy, you have played against me before, you are not my opponent at all, do you still want to play against me now? Yes, now I'm going to fight you for 3,000 rounds, rubber fists, rubber rockets. At this moment, while the wind was talking, Xiaozan immediately performed his rubber stunt. Okay, since this is the case, then I won't bully you in the wind, and now I will use your ability to deal with you. This is called the way of the other side, and I will give you back. Kazama said that, and immediately used the ability of that rubber. Chapter 505 Please protect the princess. After all, he had absorbed Luffy's ability with his burning judgment system. So now Kazama can also use the ability of this rubber. And now Kazama's rubber ability is better than that of Luffy. Rubber Super Laser Cannon. Kazama said, and then used his own move. Not long after that, Luffy was knocked to the ground. Then Kazama immediately cast demonic illusion on Luffy, which made Luffy completely sober up. At this time, when Luffy woke up, he realized that he had attacked that Kazama earlier. This immediately embarrassed Luffy, so Luffy hurriedly apologized to Kazama. Because Luffy knew he was wrong. At this time, Kazama smiled and said to Luffy, "Luffy, after all, we are all strong men, how could I blame you? You must know that we are all good brothers, and I also know you are greedy for something, so you don't have to apologize to me. Everyone, please help us." And this time was when Luffy and Kazami were talking. The curly-haired middle-aged man on the other side knelt directly in front of Fengjian with a plop. This suddenly surprised the wind in his heart, so the wind hurriedly helped the middle-aged man up. "I said this, uncle, there is gold under the man's knees, and now you are older than me, how can you kneel down to me? If you need me to help you with anything, it doesn't matter, as long as I can I will do my best to do it." Quote. "Oh, with your words, little brother, I am satisfied." Hearing what the wind said, the curly-haired middle-aged man nodded happily. Then he rushed to Kazama again and said, "I said, little brother Kazama, you don't know something. Now the people from the Pakistan Rock Work Club already know that we are undercover, and also know that we are in the kingdom of Alabasta. The princess is here, it won't be long before they send someone to attack us, so I want you to protect our Alabasta princess, which is Princess Vivi, and let her to escape from here, so that we can make us Alabasta there as a successor to the king." This one. After hearing what the curly-haired middle-aged man said, Na Fengjian immediately smiled and nodded at him. "I said this, uncle, you don't have to worry, since I said that now I have been involved in this matter, then I will naturally help you, but now I will not lead your Princess Weiwei to escape." "Oh, what do you mean by that?" Once he heard that Fengjian wanted to help, he was unwilling to take Princess Wei to run away. This suddenly made the middle-aged man with curly hair puzzled. "It's very simple, because now I'm here to wait for the people from the Pakistan Rock Works to come here, and then kill them all." "What? How is this possible?" Hearing Fengyan's words, the curly-haired middle-aged man immediately fell out in cold sweat. Because this middle-aged man with curly hair knows very well that the strength of Naba Rock Works is very terrifying. How could Kazama be the opponent of Naba Rock Works just by himself? So the curly-haired middle-aged man rushed to Kazama again and said, "I said, little brother Kazama, I know your strength is very good, very powerful, but even if your strength is very good and powerful, how can you possibly be? Is it the opponent of Naba Rock Works and others? So I persuade you to lead Princess Weiwei to escape as soon as possible." Quote. Chapter 506 I want to hang up Ba Rock Works. "Hee, I said this, uncle, you are too underestimating our big brother Kazama." At this time, Luffy immediately laughed at the curly-haired middle-aged man. "Our eldest brother Kazama is a well-known sturdy man, and he beat the 2 senior agents of the Naba Rock Work Club to pieces with ease. You must know that these 2 people are capable of the devil fruit, but even so, in front of our eldest brother Kazama, they are also rubbish, and they are also useless, so in my opinion, all the people in this Pakistan Rock Works are useless." Haggis. "Ha ha ha, I didn't think that you guys are not good enough, but now you actually like to pretend in front of us." At this moment, an obese youth with curly hair Yuhi immediately appeared in front of Kazama and others. At this time, with the appearance of the curly-haired middle-aged man, the curly-haired middle-aged man immediately fell out in a cold sweat. Then hurriedly rushed to Kazama and said, "I said, little brother Kazama, you must be careful, this person is a senior agent of Ba Rock Works, nicknamed Merry Christmas, his real name is Dorothy. This person ate that the animal-type mole fruit person, so his ability is much more powerful than the previous gem. Hee, you bastard really knows my details thoroughly." After hearing the curly-haired middle-aged man's words, the Dorothy immediately cursed at him. "What I'm most afraid of is going undercover, and now I wanted to use my trump card to beat you guys to the ground, but I didn't expect a face-to-face effort. You actually revealed my true strength, really makes me so angry." At this time, Dorothy sneered and cursed at the middle-aged man with curly hair. At this time, the curly-haired middle-aged man was afraid of the strength of this Dorothy. Immediately, he was so frightened that he took a few steps back and hid directly behind the wind. "Looks like you little bastard is their leader." At this time, Natalafi immediately aimed the spear. "I don't dare to be the leader, but now that I'm here, you can't hurt the town called Whiskey, and you can't leave with Princess Weiwei." Haha, it really makes me laugh. After hearing this, Dorothy immediately scolded the wind. "You little bastard, what kind of thing are you? You dare to pretend in front of me, and say that I can't take Princess Vivi away. I tell you, now I'm going to take Princess Vivian, and I not only if I want to take Princess Weiwei away, I will also smash your ashes to ashes." The Earth Dragon Shield Method, Earth Dragon Fish. At this time, as soon as Dorothy's voice fell, he immediately used the ability of the mole fruit. He directly transformed into a mole and dug a hole in the ground, then disappeared in front of everyone. At this time, the curly-haired middle-aged man, as soon as he saw this Dorothy face to face, used the devil fruit ability, which immediately frightened him. So he hurriedly rushed to Fengjian and said, "I said, little brother Kazama, now you must be careful about this Dorothy. He is able to use the power of devil fruit proficiently, and now that she has dug a hole under it, there is a good chance that Nine is going to attack us. Really, it's a pity that I am afraid of everything in the wind, except for sneak attacks." Chapter 507 Hanging Dog Fruit Ability. At this time, the wind was talking while smiling coldly. Then, with one hand raised, he cast Doden, Earth-style, Earth Dragon Bullet. Then I saw that a huge Earth Dragon appeared directly from the ground, and took advantage of the trend to capture Dorothy, who was hidden in the ground. What? How is this possible? Once I see Kazama, I will actually use Doden, Earth-style, and it is even more powerful than my own Doden, Earth-style. This suddenly shocked Dorothy in his heart. You must know that Dorothy used the power of the mole fruit before. That's why he can use Doden, Earth-style, to attack others. And the battles he has experienced are not tens of thousands, but hundreds. But no one has ever beaten him on this Doden, Earth-style. But now Kazama is an exception, which suddenly made his heart terrified. At this time, Kazama immediately smiled at this Dorothy and said, "I tell you Dorothy, your Doden, Earth-style, is awesome now, but in front of me Kazama is rubbish." "What? I'm angry too." Dorothy was immediately annoyed when he saw that Kazejian dared to act in front of him. Immediately after that, he scolded the wind. "Little bastard, I'm telling you, don't think you're fucking trapping me with Doden, Earth-style, now. You can just pretend in front of me, Doden, Earth-style, banana slap." At this moment, Dorothy immediately turned his hands into the hands of the mole, directly beat the Earth Dragon Bullet in Kazama into nothingness, and then killed it again towards Kazama. "Okay, since you fucking think your Doden, Earth-style, is better than my Doden, Earth-style, now, today I'll show you what real shit is." Kazama said that. He cast the Earth Flow Wall again, and then cast the Doden, Earth-style, Super Heavy Rock technique. With ease, he pinned Natalafi to the ground, making him unable to move. "I'm so pissed off. Mole Highway." At this time, Dorothy immediately used all his trump cards. The mole hits the wall. I saw that Dorothy was in the state of the Mole Highway, and immediately rammed into the Doden, Earth-style, in the wind. But he far underestimated the power of the Doden, Earth-style, Earth-flowing wall. You must know that the Doden, Earth-style, Earth wall in the wind room contains the power of different fire. Its hardness has long been invincible. Therefore, this Dorothy is not the opponent of that Kazama at all. Then Fengjian knocked Dorothy to the ground with 3 punches and 2 feet. And he said to Dorothy again, "Did I say that there are no powerful people in your Ba Rock Work Club? You actually sent you this rubbish to pretend to be in front of me. I tell you, now you will work your Ba Rock work immediately. Everyone from the club called me over, or I'll tear you to shreds and smash your bones to ashes." What? Annoy me too. As soon as Kazama's voice fell, a long enemy who looked like a hound rushed into the air and appeared in front of Kazama. Little bastard, do you really think that there is no one in our Ba Rock workplace? This person is a senior agent of the Ba Rock Works, who took the bibu of the dog fruit. This Feng Kele's ability is to be able to turn into those 3 hounds. Its attack power is very high, very awesome. Just when the middle-aged man with curly hair introduced the ability of this bibu to the wind, that bibu had already exerted the evil ability of the fist fruit and transformed himself into the shape of a dachshund. Chapter 508 Hanging and beating those with the ability to imitate fruit. Then a face-to-face effort killed the wind. But it's a pity that in front of the wind, this dog fruit is simply garbage. Therefore, that Kazama directly performed the Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign. He also knocked Nabe to the ground. You 2 useless bastards, you can't even deal with a kid. At this time, a man in prison uniform who looked like a human monster immediately blocked the 2 Dorothy and Bibu who were shocked and flew out. At this time, this person sneered in the wind while talking. Xiao Mao, let you know the name first, and then slowly clean up you. I am a super agent of the Ba Rock Work Club. I can imitate the ability of all people, that is to say, I will use whatever moves you use. Move. Oh, really? Since it's so awesome, I'm going to give it a try. Can you imitate my moves? Seeing that the people in this Ba Rock Work Club are actually those with the ability of the devil fruit, this wind immediately sneered. At this time, Feng Kele saw that Feng Jian didn't take him seriously, which immediately made him furious. Then, with a face-to-face effort, he was killed in the wind. Okay, you little bastard dare not take me seriously, then I'll let you see my strength today. At this time, Feng Kele used his own less receipt while talking. It's a pity that he is a killer. In the wind room, it looks like garbage. So Kazama immediately cast the Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign. Sneered when he saw that Kazama used the Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign. Immediately, he used his ability to imitate fruit, imitating the Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign of Kazama. Afterwards the 2 Shinra Tensei Almighty Push were already facing each other. The huge shock wave was generated in the surrounding open space, which immediately shocked the wind in the heart. Because Kazama previously thought that even if this Feng Kele was awesome, he couldn't imitate his Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign at all. After all, his Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign is Rinnegan's ability. But he did not expect that now this Feng Kele can really imitate his Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign. This was far beyond what the wind had expected. At this time, Nobin Klai, although superficially imitated Kazama's Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign. But in fact his physical strength simply can't stand the huge consumption of this Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign. But this Feng Kele is a person who wants to save face and suffer. Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign of Kazama. He was proud again, and began to ruthlessly ridicule at the wind. How about you, little miscellaneous hair, you can use whatever moves you have. After all, you are garbage and a useless person in front of me. Okay, since you are so arrogant, then today I will show you how strong my strength is. Kazama performed another ninjutsu again at this time. But at this time, Feng Kele still did not take Kazama in his eyes. He thinks that since he can copy Kazama's Shinra Tensei Almighty Push sign, he can copy all of Kazama's tricks. But he didn't expect that Shinra Tensei Almighty Push is just the most common move for Kazama, and there are countless super ninjutsu skills of Kazama's master. At this time, with the current ninjutsu display of Kazama, Feng Kele was immediately shocked. Chapter 509 Those who have the ability to take in the dog fruit. I saw that Kazama's face-to-face kung fu, and then cast Susanoo. It's not that Kazama has no other moves except Susanoo to defeat this Feng Kele. But the scenery hopes that this Feng Kele can understand the gap between him and himself. You must know that Kazama is the god of the ninja world. What are Rinnegan, Sharingan, Samsara Sharingan, the escape technique of the 5 attributes, and 23 different fires. That wind room is all used with pure fire. Therefore, in Fengyan's eyes, this Feng Kele is simply an ant. That wind room can trample it to death anytime, anywhere. But Kazama wasn't that person who was addicted to murder. And Kazama also knows that when defeating a person, he must be the first to defeat his will in advance. Only by defeating his mental will, then this person will become weak as an ant. And at this time, it was just as the wind had expected. Now Kazama's full body Susanoo has been cast. Immediately frightened, Feng Kele thumped and collapsed to the ground. At this time, not only that Feng Kele, but also the middle-aged man with curly hair and Princess Vivian were trembling with fear. Because they have never seen anyone before, who can perform such a powerful move. Now in their eyes, Fengjan is no longer a human being, but a serious god. Otherwise, if it wasn't for the gods, how could anyone perform such a thrilling move? At this time, Susanoo in the wind had reached hundreds of feet in size. At this moment, Kazama immediately stood on top of Susanoo's head. Condescendingly, he looked at Feng Kele, who had been slumped to the ground in fright. How is it? Aren't you the one who can imitate fruits? If that's the case, then you can also imitate my Susanoo and take a look. I tell you, as long as you imitate my Susanoo, Kazama is willing to admit defeat to you immediately. Quote. Well, you little bastard, you dare to irritate me, today I will show you my abilities. Originally, Feng Kele thought that even if he was the one who could imitate the fruit. But his ability is limited, how could he possibly display such a powerful Susanoo like Kazama? Therefore, this Feng Kele had a plan to escape from the beginning. But this Feng Kele thought that no matter how he said it, he was still that strong and iron-boned man. Wouldn't it be too embarrassing to say that he ran away like this? So this Feng Kele even bit the bullet and used his ability to imitate. Get ready to follow suit. This Feng Kele thought that as long as he used the appearance of Susanoo, then the wind can be considered a loser. And you can get your face back in earnest. But he didn't expect it. Not to mention the ability to use Susanoo now. Even just displaying the appearance of Susanoo, Feng Kele couldn't bear it anymore. At this time, Von Klai didn't even show 1/10 of Susanoo's appearance. His physical strength just couldn't take it anymore. This was far beyond Feng Kele's expectations. Then a face-to-face effort. Collapsed to the ground again because he forcibly imitated Susanoo of Kazama. This was immediately frightening that Feng Kele took a few steps back and broke out in cold sweat. And this is something that Feng Kele never expected. Chapter 510 Can you imitate Susanoo? He thought that this kid in the wind seemed to be ordinary. Even if Fengjan cast this 100-jong-sized golden giant, it is just a piece of garbage, and it is useless. But he never expected that the Susanoo that Kazama is casting now is not that rubbish. It's a serious super cool move. Now that Fengjan has not done anything to this Feng Kele collapsed to the ground because of his lack of energy. This situation immediately caused Luffy and the others below to burst into laughter. Then Luffy immediately pointed at Feng Kele's nose and cursed loudly. Feng Kele, you bastard, weren't you fucking awesome and powerful before? Didn't you pretend to be in front of our big brother Fengjan before, saying that our big brother Fengjan is not your opponent at all? If that's the case, let me ask you now, since our eldest brother Fengjan is not your opponent, why are you now paralyzed in fright after being confronted by our eldest brother Fengjan? At this time, Feng Kele felt that it was enough to be ashamed because of his failure to imitate. But now I see Luffy daring to point at his nose and scolding him again, which pot should not be opened and which pot should be lifted. This instantly made Feng Kele even more annoyed. So this Feng Kele made a face-to-face effort, and directly rushed to Luffy to perform a sneak attack. But he never expected that Luffy's body was made of rubber. Possessed the ability to rebound infinitely and extend infinitely. So now this Feng Kele's sneak attack is on Luffy's body. But it didn't do any damage to Luffy. On the contrary, it was completely given by that Luffy and bounced back to this Feng Kele. When he hit that, Feng Kele was crying for his father and mother. At this time, once Fengjian saw that Feng Kele's skills were not as good as others, he actually dared to act in front of him. This suddenly made Feng Jian's heart burst into anger, and he was furious. So Fengjian immediately scolded Feng Kele. I tell you this bastard, I have spared you many times before, Fengjian, and I don't want to deal with you too much, but I didn't expect that, you are so fucking obvious. You lost, but you still dared to act in front of me, and dared to take action against my good brother. I tell you, now I will never forgive you no matter what. Don't do this for me, I don't care if you forgive me or not. In short, I tell you little bastard, because I didn't have enough food when I came here, so I don't want to pay attention to you, you can let me if you have the guts. Go back, and wait for me for 3.5 years, and then I'll come back to play against you. Clap clap clap. Before Feng Kele could finish speaking, Feng Jian immediately knocked him to the ground with 3 punches and 2 feet. I said you are a fool, are you a fool? How dare you act in front of me, and tell me to wait for you for 3.5 years? If I tell you it is 3 seconds, I won't wait any longer. You. Although I am kind, I am not a weak person. At this time, Feng Kele was directly beaten into a cripple while talking about the wind. At this time, several other Pakistani rock workers saw that Feng Kele, who was the strongest, was defeated by Kazama. It was so frightening that they were shaking all over. And at this time, the reason why the wind wanted to fight them one by one. Chapter 511 Ready to slap the bar rock works. It is to wait until all the main force of their Pakistani rock work group all come here. But the wind didn't expect it, and now he has waited for a long time and delayed for a long time. This Pakistani rock work club just brought out these little gangsters to fight against themselves. This suddenly made the wind room very angry. So Kazama grabbed the dog fruit person. I said that you people from the Pakistan Rock Work Club are really inferior. Don't you know the strength of my wind? You dare to send the 3 wastes of you to fight against my wind. It's really unbearable and unbearable. Endure. This. Hearing the words of the wind, the dog's fruit ability was immediately frightened and incoherent. Don't look at him being domineering and arrogant on weekdays, but he is actually a person who eats soft and fears hard. Therefore, once he saw Fengyan's strength so powerful, he was so scared that he fell into a cold sweat. Therefore, when I heard that Feng Jian was annoyed at his Ba Rock Work Club, this dog fruit person rolled his eyes and immediately came up with an idea. Therefore, he hurriedly said in the wind with a smile on his face, I said this little brother, now you don't know anything, because your name has not spread to the ears of the boss of our Naba Rock Works, so he also I don't know whether your strength is high or low, so he assigned the 3 of us to fight against you. If you really want to wipe out our Ba Rock Work Club, then I am willing to be your pawn and lead them all over. Quote. Oh, really? Kazama never expected that this canine fruit person would actually rely on himself. Hee, of course, it is said that the Taoist goes to the high place and the water flows to the low place. Although I was your enemy in the past, but now I see the strength of your brother Fengjian is so superb, so awesome. I am now willing to follow your lead. I would too. At this time, the mole fruit ability person immediately flew to the front of Kazama. Although we were enemies with you before, but after the 3,000 rounds we fought against you, we also saw that you are a serious and good person. Yes, after all, if you put it on other people, I am afraid that we would have already killed the defeated generals, but now you have not only spared us, but have not even talked to us, so we are all willing to surrender to you. I am willing to be your pawn and bring over a piece of the bastard from Naba Rock Works. Quote. Okay, if that's the case, then listen to what you have to say. At this time, Kazama didn't know if these 2 people really surrendered to him. But that Kazama's purpose is to wipe out that Ba Rock Work Club. So Kazama naturally agreed to their request. At this time, the dog with fruit ability, seeing Kazama willing to subdue himself, immediately nodded happily. After a face-to-face effort, I went to Naba Rock Works. Because they want to use their 3-inch tongue to attract the boss of Naba Rock Works and all the high-level executives. So that the wind can sweep them all away. At this time, the boss of Naba Rock Studio did not know Kazama's strength. He thought he had dispatched 3 senior agents under his command earlier. Chapter 512 The person with the ability to rust fruit appears. You can easily smash the corpse into 10,000 pieces, and smash the bones into ashes. But he didn't expect that the agents under him would be rubbish and useless in front of that wind room. So it was when the boss of the Bar Rock Works was eating and drinking at their secret base. Even when he saw that the 3 agents he sent out came to him with scars all over their bodies. This immediately made the boss of the Naba Rock Work Club furious and furious. Then the boss of the Bar Rock Works immediately waved a palm and knocked the 3 people to the ground. Then he immediately pointed to their noses and scolded, I said, you bastards, you are also the ability of the devil fruit. Ordinary people are not your opponents at all. And I have heard about that wind room for a long time. He is an ordinary person at all, but now you have been knocked to the ground by him, it really makes me bear it or not. At this time, the dog fruit person and others originally wanted to pretend to take refuge in Kazama, and then explained the situation of Kazama to the boss of the Bar Rock Studio, so that he could prepare early. But they never expected that their current boss would be so arrogant and domineering. As an enemy, Kazama beat them all without a word. But now the boss they are desperately relying on is so cruel to them. So the 3 of them looked at each other immediately, and they really turned to the enemy. Rock Workplace with a smile on their faces. Boss, you are right, the 3 of us are indeed useless, but the reason why we have become useless is also because Kazama awesome. Yes, if we were ordinary people, even if the 3 of us perished with him, we would have to smash his body into 10,000 pieces and smash his bones into ashes, but now this wind room is really too awesome, too powerful. Yeah, this wind room is indeed very powerful. Originally, the 3 of us were really going to die with him. We were all strapped with that explosive, but we didn't expect that this little brat was too powerful. He not only defeated us, he even humiliated us. It even said that you, the boss of the Bar Rock Works, is a tortoise with a shrinking head. He only dares to shrink here and dare not go out and fight against him. What? Annoy me too. The boss of Naba Rock Works is a simple-minded person with well-developed limbs. So now that he has heard what the 3 said, he still doesn't know that this is the trick of the 3. Therefore, in a face-to-face effort, he scolded the wind. You little bastard in the wind, I, the Rock Studio, have never paid attention to you, but now you fucking dare to block our plan, and even dare to insult me as a shrewd turtle. Well, if that's the case, then I'll show you my strength. At this time, the boss of Naba Rock Works was talking. He immediately led his subordinates to the Whiskey Town. And at this time, the 3 people who took refuge in Kazami's fist and fist fruit ability also took a step ahead of the boss of the Bar Rock Works and came to the place where the wind was. On the surface, they were going to stand in the front, but in reality, they wanted to help Kazama lay a trap here. Chapter 513 I'm the King's Chiwahai. And Kazama also learned the secret of the boss of the Bar Rock Works from the mouths of the 3 of them. The real name of the boss of the Bar Rock Work Club is Shaldik, and he is the one who is capable of the fruit of the salsa. This Shake Rockdar can use the power of that sand as a means of attack. Hee, isn't this exactly the same trick as the Hokage World Sand Waterfall Gara? After hearing the words of the 3, Kazama immediately smiled and nodded. I said, little brother Kazama, what did you just say about the Hokage world? What Sand Waterfall Gara? What does that mean? Yeah, why haven't we heard of it? You must know that these people are from the pirate world, so they naturally don't know the Hokage world. At this time, after hearing the questions of these 3 people, that Kazama also knew that he couldn't explain it to them for a while. Moreover, even if he explained it clearly, it would be of no use to him now fighting against this Shake Rockdar. Therefore, Fengjan immediately smiled and nodded at them, and then said to them again, I will tell you about this after the fact. Now your top priority is to run as far as you can. What? How is this possible? At this time, the three people with the ability of dog and dog fruit were originally here to help Kazama. Let's fight them together, the boss of the Ba Rock Works, Shaq Rock Doll. Because they all know that their boss is very powerful and powerful. Otherwise it is impossible, a person with the ability to recruit so many devil fruits. But now, after listening to the wind, he actually wants a person to fight Nashardik. They immediately shook their heads into rattles. I said, little brother Kazama, we all know that your strength is very good, very powerful, but now why do you want to play against Shaq Rockdar alone? Yeah, the strength of this Shaq Rockdar can't be underestimated. Besides, there are so many helpers under this Shaq Rockdar. Now if you want to fight against them, then I think you are in all likelihood will be defeated by them. Hee, I said that you underestimate me too. Seeing that the three of them didn't seem to believe in their own strength, Kazama immediately burst out laughing. I'm the sturdy man in the wind. As a man, I never lie, so you don't have to worry. Hee, I don't care what kind of man you are or not. In short, as long as I make a move, I can turn you into a bastard. Just when he persuaded these three people, Luffy, Zoro and others to leave here quickly, so as not to be hurt by himself. Shaq Rockdar has led a group of men down here. When this Shaq Rockdal saw Kazama who beat his subordinates to bruises, he turned out to be a kid. This suddenly made him sneer even more wildly. So this Shaq Rockdal immediately scolded the three of those who had the dog fruit ability. You three useless bastards, can't you imagine that you are being defeated by this kid now? Don't you feel ashamed? At this time, Shaq Rockdar did not know that these three of his men had already taken refuge in the wind room. At this time, the three people with dog fruit ability had already had enough of this Shaq Rockdal's either beating or scolding, and had long been fed up with this Shaq Rockdal's unfair treatment. Chapter 514 Hanging and Beating the King Down the Seven Seas of Wuhai. Therefore, once he sees this Shaldik, he dares to act in front of him. The three of them met face to face immediately, and they scolded Shaq Rockdar back. I tell you this bastard, don't think that now that you have the power of the rustling fruit, you can act in front of us. Yes, let me tell you, we didn't want to hang out with you for a long time. Let's hang out with our big brother Kazama now. What? How dare you betray me? Shaq Rockdar never expected that. The three subordinates who had been obedient to himself before and only agreed. Now that he dared to betray himself with a face-to-face kung fu, it suddenly made that person go into a rage. And at this time, before Shaq Rockdar finished cursing, Kazama immediately blocked in front of these three people. He sneered at Shaq Rockdar and said, how is it? Did these three people submit to me? Do you have any opinion? What? Annoy me too. At this time, Shaq Rockdar had not paid attention to Kazama. But he didn't expect that now Fengjian dared to gather his subordinates in front of him. This is a living provocation. So this Shaq Rockdal immediately killed him in a face-to-face manner, and headed towards the scenery. I'll tell you little babe, there is a way to heaven and you don't go, and there is no way to hell, you come here, you don't eat a toast, and you have to eat a fine drink, then don't blame me for being ruthless. At this moment, Shaq Rockdal waved his hands, and a sandstorm directly killed the others. Brother Kazama, you must be careful about this Shaq Rockdar, his sand escape is very awesome and very powerful. Oh, is it better than my sand dun? What? Hearing that Fengjian would also use sand dun, everyone was immediately shocked. At this time, Shaq Rockdar was in a rage, so he didn't listen to Kazama's words at all. But he never expected, just when his sandstorm was about to stir up the wind, a huge strange hand made of sand appeared immediately in front of Kazama. After a face-to-face effort, all the dust storms were pinched into nothingness. What? How is this possible? As soon as he saw Fengjian, he would actually use sand dun, and even this sand dune's ability was even more powerful than his own sandstorm. Shocked Shake Rockdoll in shock. Because this Shake Rockdoll has been in the pirate world for decades. He has never seen anyone who can have the same ability as himself. You little bastard, could it be that you also use the rustling fruit? Impossible, there is only one devil fruit in the world. At this time, Nashike Rockdar said, and was puzzled. At this time, Kazama smiled again and said to him, Shake Rockdar, now is not the time to doubt, because if you doubt a little, you may get bruised by my beating. I'm mad at me too. At this time, Nashike Rockdar was originally questioning the wind. But he didn't expect that Fengjian didn't take care of him at all, and even dared to humiliate himself. This suddenly made Nashike Rockdal's heart even more shocked. Afterwards, Nashike Rockdar used the ability of the rustling fruit again. At this time, I saw a sandstorm that was even more powerful and huge than before, killing the wind and the others again. At this time, the sandstorm was so powerful that it also rolled up many houses. Its lethality is already hundreds of times more powerful than the previous sandstorm. But after seeing the wind, he laughed disapprovingly. Shake Rockdal, originally I wanted to absorb your abilities for my own use, but since you are too rubbish, I didn't bother to absorb them, so I'll let you see my abilities now. At this time, Fengjian smiled coldly, and the land 100 miles in front turned directly into a desert. Then hundreds of big hands appeared in this desert. Then, with a face-to-face effort, the sandstorm that was coming in the face was photographed into nothingness again. Afterwards, the hundreds of giant beasts made of sand grabbed Shardik behind them with unabated power. A face-to-face effort, Nashike Rockdar was trapped in place. At this time, before Nashike Rockdar could react, Kazama used Gaara's famous move, the sand-bound coffin again. It directly crushed Nashike Rockdar into pieces. What? How is this possible? Don't say that Luffy and the others couldn't believe it at this time, even Nashike Rockdal's subordinates never expected it. To know the strength of their boss, but very superb, very awesome. And it is also one of the 7 martial seas under the king. But they didn't expect that now this is the so-called Chiwahai under the king. He was actually killed by this little-known little guy in the wind with ease. This has greatly refreshed their worldview. And just when these men were afraid of the strength of the wind and were about to escape from here, suddenly a strange sight happened. Chapter 515 Crazy Absorption Skill. It turned out that the sand-bound coffin that controlled Shake Rockdal actually broke down in one face-to-face. This suddenly shocked Feng Jian's heart. You must know that this sand-bound coffin in the wind is very powerful and very powerful. Even compared to Gaara, the original user of the sand-bound coffin, Kazama was even better. Kazama, after all, will use the power of Shukaku Aikiao. So now the sand dunes in the wind are all derived from Shukaku. But Kazama never expected that he had used the 2 ultimate killing moves, Desert Burial and Sand Binding. However, he failed to kill this Shake Rockdal, which naturally made Nakazama a little unbelievable. At this time, after Shake Rockdal appeared, he immediately sneered in the wind room. You little bastard, do you really think that you can kill me just with your trashy sand? Let me tell you, I'm one of the 7 martial seas under the king's seriousness, but you, who are as famous as the 4 Yellow Navy leaders, want to beat me. This is simply impossible. At this time, Shake Rockdal said, and immediately cast a more powerful desert prison. At this time, the trick of Shake Rockdal's desert prison was not an attack on the wind. Instead, it attacked the subordinates who were about to escape. At this time, I saw that once the desert prison was used, a face-to-face effort surrounded the men who escaped. Absorb all the water on the bodies of those fleeing men. Originally a living person, at this moment, it has directly turned into a mummy. Shake Rockdal is a particularly terrifying move. At this time, Shake Rockdal immediately scolded the subordinates who were beheaded by himself. You bastards, obviously following me, but you dare to betray me. this is the end of your betrayal of me, ha ha ha. Quote. Kazama originally thought that this Shaq Rock was just a ferocious pirate. But he didn't expect that Shaq Rockdale would still be so disowned. These people are obviously his subordinates, but he will kill them mercilessly. Besides, people are all fearful, and even if these people escape, they should be forgiven. This naturally made Kazama's heart agitated, so Kazama immediately pointed at Shaq Rockdale's nose and scolded, I tell you Shaq Rockdale, now you are a person I can't stand to see, because you are indeed too cruel. Don't give me this shit. Without waiting for the wind to finish, this crocodile immediately killed the wind. Desert sunflower. Then I saw that this rock doll controlled the flow of the water veins below the land. Made the land above form dunes, and used these powerful quicksands to kill the wind. Hee, Xiao Zha Mao, let me tell you, since I am a capable person of that rustling fruit, then my abilities are very many, very powerful, so don't think that you can beat me once, you little Zha Mao, it can beat me for the second and third time, and now I am a desert sunflower that claims to be a desert coffin that does not need tombstones, so as long as the person is hit, I will be executed in one face-to-face. Oh, if that's the case, then I'll take a look at how awesome and powerful your desert sunflower is. Chapter 516 Kill Shaq Rockdale. Kazama said as he faced the sunflowers in the desert at Nak Rockdar. Hee, I said you little bastard. Could it be that your head was kicked by a donkey? At this time, Nak Rockdale originally thought that Kazama would flee elsewhere because he was afraid of his ability as a desert sunflower. But he never expected that Fengjian would dare to rush straight towards his desert sunflower now. This is obviously not fatal, so Shaq Rockdale sneered at the wind room again. But Nashik Rockdar didn't expect it. Now, just when he thought that his desert sunflower would be able to shred the wind into thousands of pieces. The desert sunflower that he is today was actually absorbed into the body by Kazama. This suddenly scared Nashak Rockdar back a few steps and broke out in cold sweat. Ding! Successfully absorbing desert sunflowers, congratulations to the host for obtaining the desert ocean technique. Hee. I felt that I absorbed the tricks of this rock doll, and then got an increase. The wind was instantly overjoyed. Although it was said that Kazama had previously disdained to absorb this crocodile's move. But when Kazama saw this crocodile later, it was obvious that he had already used his trump card. Then Fengjian thought about not absorbing white and not absorbing. And now that he has absorbed it, he can also use this to deter Shaq Rockdale. At this time, it was just as Kazami had expected. Now Kazama has used the burning juice system to absorb the desert sunflowers of Rockdale. Nak Rockdale was immediately slumped to the ground in fright. At this time, Kazama sneered at Nak Rockdar and said, I said Crocdar, although your desert sunflower is a bit awesome, although it's a bit powerful, it is still a piece of garbage in front of my Kazama, so now I will let you see my desert ocean technique. What? Once I heard that Fengjian was not killed by his own desert sunflower. He even used a trick that was even more powerful than his desert sunflower. At this moment, even Shaki Rockdar, one of the kings under the Chihuahai, was shocked. But now Shaq Rockdale knew it wasn't the time to be shocked. Because the technique of the desert ocean in the wind is already a face-to-face time, and kills this Nasik Rockdar head-on. At this time, K. Rockdale originally wanted to escape quickly. But he never expected that the attack range of this desert ocean technique in the wind is too wide. Therefore, a face-to-face effort has already surrounded the crocodile. Afterwards, he knocked Rockdale directly to the ground. Then he submerged Nak Rockdar in the huge desert ocean again. At this time, Luffy and the others were overjoyed when they saw that Kazama had dealt with this K. Rockdale again. Then he hurried to the wind. I said, Big Brother Kazama, you are really amazing. Yeah, you must know that this Shaq Rockdar is one of the famous Chihuahai under the king. Now you not only solved them, but also solved them twice. You are really too awesome, too powerful, you are an example to so many of us. Hee, I said everyone, don't compliment me like this now. Chapter 517 Shaq Rock Doll Resurrected. Oh, why can't we praise you? It's very simple, because now I didn't kill K Rockdoll seriously. What? How is this possible? As soon as he heard Funyun's words, Luffy and the others immediately looked at each other in dismay. Because they have clearly seen this Shaq Rock Doll, and it has indeed been beheaded by that room. But why is Kazama saying that he was not serious in beheading this Shaq Rockdar? At this time, because the Kazama had already cast Rinnegan, he said that he had seen that the K Rockdar, surrounded by his own desert ocean, was constantly absorbing the moisture in the desert. And these deserts will become extremely fragile if there is no moisture. As long as it is weak, it will be completely freed from the bondage by Shaq Rock Doll, and then resurrected again. Kazama originally had the opportunity to tear this Shaq Rock Dale into pieces. But the wind didn't do that. Because Fengjian thought that this rock doll dared to be so arrogant and domineering, so show off his might. Then I might as well take the opportunity to absorb all his moves and use them as my own, and then deal with him. That's why Kazama didn't kill Shaq Rock Doll. At this time, Nashik Rockdar didn't know Kazama's true thoughts. He also thought that Kazami did not have the ability to kill himself. Therefore, the resurrected Shaq Rockdoll immediately killed the wind again under the watchful eyes of the crowd. You little bastard, I admit that you are really awesome and powerful, but it's still a little difficult to kill me. Arc Moon Dunes. With Nashik Rockdar's roar, its arm immediately turned into that moon's Kiba-shaped sand arm. He slashed towards the Tianling guy in the wind. I tell you little stray hair, as long as you are chopped by my sand, then I will absorb all the water in your body, and as long as I absorb your water, then no matter how awesome or powerful you are, this little stray hair, you too will become that shriveled mummy. Oh, really? Then I really want to see what a mummy is. Well, you little bastard, how dare you fucking dare to be so arrogant and domineering? Well, today I will show you my terrifying strength. Just when Shaq Rockdar thought he could kill Kazama, he never expected that Fengjian would once again rush towards his own curved moon-shaped sand dune. Could it be this kid? Seeing this move by Kazama, Nashak Rockdoll secretly said that it is not good. Because he was worried that Kazama's old tricks would be repeated, he absorbed his own arc moon-shaped sand dune. And the so-called fear of what to come. Now what Shaq Rockdale feared has happened. I saw that the wind made a face-to-face effort, and directly absorbed the arc moon sand dunes of Nasik Rockdar into the body. Ding! Successfully absorbed the arc moon dunes. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the full moon dunes. What? How is this possible? Seeing that Kazama really did what he thought, he still absorbed his attack as it was. This can suddenly make Nashak Rockdar dumbfounded. Because this Shaq Rockdoll devoured this rustling fruit, anyone in front of him is garbage. Chapter 518 Acquire 3 skills in a row. No one has the right to act in front of him. But he didn't expect that now he himself was beaten by this little-known wind without the ability to fight back. And that's when Nashak Rockdale was shocked. That wind room has already cast a moon-shaped sand dune. After a face-to-face effort, he once again killed Nashik Rockdar in the face. But at this time, thanks to Nashik Rockdar's quick response, he hurriedly crystallized his body. This avoided being beheaded by the wind. Then, Nashak Rockdale let out a long howl in anger, as if going crazy. In one go, he killed all his moves towards the wind. Desert Sword. At this time, I saw that Rockdoll's arms had all turned into giant knives formed of sand. After another face-to-face effort, he slashed towards the wind room again. At this time, along with Shaq Rockdoll's attack, a purple lightning appeared in front of him, and its power was earth-shattering. It's a pity that it was still easily absorbed into the body by the wind. Ding! Successfully absorbed the Desert Sword. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the technique of surface erosion. Shaq Rockdale, I told you a long time ago that your trick to me is child's play. Then this wind room immediately cast this surface erosion. At this time, I saw that all kinds of things in the whole big place were completely destroyed by this technique of the wind. And Nashak Rakhdar was also forced to flee the attack range of Kazama quickly. Its fleeing figure can be described as extremely embarrassed. "I'm so mad at me. How dare you use my tricks against me, you little bastard. Hee hee, this is called returning the same to the other. I'm still begging your mother." Before that Kazama could finish speaking, Shak Rakhdar seemed to be going crazy, and killed the Kazama again. At this time, in order to completely defeat Kazama, Nashak Rakhdar immediately cast the unique super large area attack among the natural rustling fruits. At this moment, even his black hair turned white due to excessive energy consumption. At this time, I saw that everything on the ground, whether trees, sand, or soil, was destroyed by Shak Rakhdal's current moves. The ground seemed to be dead, and everything became very terrifying. At this time, Luffy and the others, once they saw this Shak Rakhdal move, was so awesome, so powerful. Immediately, they were so frightened that they fell out in cold sweat. Because the attack range of Shak Rakhdal's technique is too large, it has already killed them head-on. Hee hee, I'm telling you Xiao Zhao Mao in the wind, even if I can't kill you this time, then I will kill your companion. Then I also tell you that you can't hurt my comrades with me at all. Nonsense, I don't believe you can. Just when Shak Rakhdal thought the wind was bragging. The wind has already cast the 8 Desolation Destruction Flames, and a pair of wings have been formed behind Luffy, Zoro and others. Luffy and the others all flew into the air. At this time, Nashak Rakhdal's attack was powerful, although sharp. But it can only attack people on the ground, and can't hurt Luffy and others in the air. Just when Shak Rakhdar was shocked by the trick Kazama was doing now. Chapter 519 Wangxia Chiwahai Garbage. That Kazama has taken advantage of the situation to absorb Shak Rakhdal's nirvana into his body. Ding! Congratulations to the host for absorbing the super large area attack unique to the natural fruit, and reward the host for 3 consecutive ninjutsu. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the heavy-duty Arc Moon Dunes, which can cause devastating attacks. Ding! Congratulations to Su for obtaining the Desert King Kong Sword, which can turn both hands into an invincible sand escape sword. Its attack power is even stronger than that of the Desert Sword, and it can tear apart anything. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Desert Great Sword, which can hit the enemy in a straight line on the ground, and the speed is extremely fast, making it hard to prevent. That's great, I'll let you see my abilities next. The heavy-shaped Arc Moon Sand Dunes, the Diamond Sword, the Desert Sword. At this time, Kazama made a face-to-face effort and killed all the 3 moves he had just acquired towards Nak Rakhdal. Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. At this time, Shak Rakhdal had completely given up his counterattack. Because he knew that even if he fought back, he would die. And at this moment, the wind made a face-to-face effort, and directly hit this K Rakhdal and passed out. Because Kazama knew that this Shak Rakhdal was a bounty figure in the navy, and the bounty had reached 81 million Baileys. Although Fengjian is not short of money now, but Fengjian also knows that money naturally has to be saved more and more. Therefore, a face-to-face effort between the winds contacted the previous Smoluo who had surrendered to him. At this time, Smoluo saw that Kazama had even captured Shak Rakhdar, one of the 7 seas. This suddenly shocked Smoluo in his heart. Then Kazama immediately smiled and said to Smoluo, "How is it? Now that I have caught this crocodile as a big fish, right? His bounty is as high as 81 million Baileys, and now you can hand it over to the Navy headquarters, and we will give you half the reward." As this, I'm afraid it's a bit difficult to do. What do you mean by that? As soon as he heard Smoluo's words, the wind was immediately puzzled. I said, "Big brother Kazama, you may not know, this Rakhdar is one of the 7 seas under the king, and the so-called 7 seas under the king have reached a strategic cooperation relationship with the naval headquarters, which means that this no matter how ferocious the king's Chiwahai is, as long as they do not endanger the Navy, they will not be wanted again. Sashak Rock Doll's 81 million Bailey bounty has been completely voided. Going to Chiwahai for the king, not only will he not be wanted by the Navy, but if I send him to the Navy headquarters, the Navy will still regard me as an enemy, and even find you through me, tearing you to pieces and smashing your bones. Ashes. What? I'm angry too. At this time, Kazama never expected that since the so-called naval headquarters dared to unite with the pirates. This suddenly made the wind in his heart burst into anger, and he was furious. But now that it has become like this, the wind can only stop there. Then, in a face-to-face effort, Nasik Rakhdar was thrown into the sea and left to fend for itself. Then the wind and the others set sail again, heading towards the Great Nautical Road. Chapter 520 Giant Pirates Appear. At this time, it didn't take long for Kazama and the others to see an island with a particularly beautiful environment, like a small garden. Because Luffy is very adventurous, and the supplies on their ships are not complete. So Luffy, Zoro, Sanji and others decided to go to the island to catch some food. But at this time, what Ling Fengjian and the others did not expect was. Now, as soon as they came to this small garden island, they found that the inner circle of the island was filled with those huge creatures. What dinosaurs, crocodiles, lizards can be described everywhere. And Nami was shocked when she saw the huge creature on the island. Then I suddenly remembered something, so I hurriedly said to Fengjian. I said, Big brother Fengjian, you must be careful, because the islands on this voyage road are divided all the year round, and they are isolated from the world, so I say these islands are all on their own. Some islands are indeed very developed, while some islands have not changed for thousands of years. Quote. This small garden island is one of them. As I expected, this small garden is the rumored Taiku Island, and this Taiku knows that there are still places where the dinosaurs lived in ancient times. What? Hearing Nami's words, even Kazama, who has always been as steady as Mount Tai, was shocked. Because Kazama has never seen a real dinosaur before. So once I heard that there were actually dinosaurs on this island, the wind was very excited. So a face-to-face effort, they immediately went to this small garden island. Get ready to see dinosaurs up close and personal. At this time, Nami originally hoped that Kazama could understand that the island was very dangerous, and hoped that Kazama could retreat. Then he led Luffy and the others to leave quickly. But she didn't expect that Kazama is actually the same as that Luffy now. It was also a momentary effort, and he went to this ancient island. This made Nami both embarrassed and helpless. At this time, Nami and Usopp were very timid because of the two of them. So they didn't dare to enter the island no matter what, so they wanted to stay on the boat and wait for Kaz, Luffy and the others to return. But who would have guessed that they waited not long before they saw a huge dinosaur rushing towards them. Frightened, Nami and Usopp fled into the island as if flying, ready to be sheltered by Kazama. They all knew that it was better to stay in front of the wind room than to stay on the boat. After all, Kazami's strength is completely rampant in this island. But now that they came to this island, they had not found Kazama, but they found a giant that was even bigger than the dinosaur before. At this time, the giant also seemed to have discovered the existence of this Nami and that Usopp. So I immediately laughed at them. Originally this giant wanted to express his enthusiasm, but because the giant was too ferocious. So this Nami and Usopp thought they were going to eat them, so Sayazi fled to another place again. At this time, the giant saw that Nami and Usopp were frightened, and now it was embarrassing. I hurriedly ran after them and hoped to explain the situation to them. But at this time Nami and Usopp didn't understand the meaning of this giant at all, and naturally they ran as fast as they could. It's a pity that monsters are rampant on this island. Now that they have not gotten rid of the giant, they see a huge lizard in front of them blocking their way. Oops, looks like we're done here too. Brother Kazama, I'm afraid we won't be able to go with you on that great voyage. Just when Nami and Usopp were about to give up, a figure suddenly appeared in front of them.